Bear witness for me. After I kicked this traitor out, he felt vindicated and returned to challenge me. Since the official battle hasn't kicked off, I shall do some warm-ups to entertain you all. Luther's booming voice instantly attracted everyone's attention. He was keen to set up a precedent to deter any future traitors and rebuild his reputation. Hey, why is your friend up there in the ring? Ralph, Abby, and the others came up to Dustin with curious and odd expressions. He's getting some personal grudge out of the way. Dustin offered a curt answer. Personal grudge? Abby was a little doubtful. Do you know who that other guy on the platform is? He's Mr. Williams from Boulder Thorn. Well, of course, he's not as great as Tatum, but he's decent. He's at the same level as Grandpa. And Dustin was unimpressed. How can your friend fight off Mr. Williams with his subpar skills? He'll be crushed and humiliated. Abby shook her head. Ralph nodded. That's right. I'd advise you to talk your friend out of the ring. Even I might not be able to fight Mr. Williams, let alone that young man. There's no talking him out of it. The two are destined to fight today. Their fates are in the hands of God, Dustin answered. You should listen to the wisdom of your elders lest you suffer unnecessarily. You'll see what I mean later. Ralph clasped his hands behind his back in a manner that suggested he had seen it all, but Dustin merely smiled at the old man. In the ring on the platform, Luther stared straight at Maximus with a smirk. You chose the harder path, didn't you? If death is what you want, I shall grant your wish. Bring it on. Maximus was cold and fearless. Killing you is a piece of cake. Luther slowly unsheathed the sword, and with a leap, he broke into a run toward his opponent. When he got near Maximus, the sword in his hand started trembling. In a second, the air was filled with illusions of the sword, confusing the eyes of the viewers and making it hard to discern reality from illusion. He used the illusory sword technique. That was a surprise. He went ahead with the technique that launched his fame. Seems like he wants this over with. Poor dude. Mr. Williams' illusory sword technique is ever-changing and hard to defend against. Not even I could block the moves. The crowd murmured and commented. With a shake of the body, Maximus unsheathed his sword and held it in one hand. He repeated what Luther did and launched his attack with the same moves. Soon, the two were in the heat of the battle. The swords and their illusions created a web of flashes. Sparks could be seen flying along with the clanking of metal. Ha! I taught you all your moves, and now you're trying to use them against me. How ridiculous. Now, it is time to give you a taste of the third move you have never mastered. While speaking, Luther waved his hand to make his sword turn back. The sword was aimed at Maximus' abdomen. It was the move that Luther had used to destroy Maximus earlier. He was confident that Maximus could not defend against the move, even if it were his second time experiencing it. They heard the sound of the blade ripping through flesh, and suddenly, the arrogant Luther froze up. When his sword was inches away from Maximus' abdomen, he finally realized that Maximus' sword had pierced through his arm, immobilizing his move. How is that possible? Luther's expression crumbled. He had never expected Maximus to defend against the attack and counterattack by hacking those moves. How could Maximus gain that insight within a mere few days?